It was 1 a.m., and I was sitting in front of my laptop, the world outside completely silent. I had a story to tell. I'd just finished editing a video about my real struggles, my real story. But the fear of judgment was paralyzing. I almost hit delete. I was scared of what people would say. I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff. Then I saw one line. If I don't speak, no one will understand. If I stayed silent, the pain stayed mine. So, I uploaded it. Next day, 3 views. I felt stupid. I had poured my heart out and it felt like no one cared. I was ready to give up. But that night, everything changed. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. The views were climbing faster than I could refresh. People started saying, "This is my story too." Vulnerability wasn't my weakness. It was the bridge that connected us. Don't be afraid to share your truth. You never know who needs to hear it. Thanks for being part of my journey. It started with a single ping. One notification. I didn't think much of it at first. Just another like, another share. But then, the pings became a hum, a constant vibrating rhythm in my pocket that wouldn't stop. My video was starting to move. It was crossing borders, languages I didn't speak, time zones where I was supposed to be asleep. The world was waking up to what I had created. 100,000 views. 200,000. I refreshed the page and the number jumped by 10,000 every time. It was intoxicating and terrifying all at once. My video kept growing, and I just sat there in the dark. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I was watching someone else's life unfold on my screen. Total strangers were talking about it, remaking it, dissecting it. For a moment, I was the center of a digital universe I didn't even know existed. When the sun came up, I hadn't slept a wink. The world looked the same, but everything for me had changed. I was viral. But what did that actually mean? And then, in the middle of all the noise, I got a message. Not a fan comment, not a share, a real professional inquiry. Can you make videos like this for my brand? It was a question I wasn't prepared for. My hobby was suddenly being treated like a service. This wasn't just any brand. It was a name I recognized, a name that stood for quality and vision. They wanted my vision. I was shocked. My heart was racing faster than the view counter. I never thought this could be a job. I was just a girl with a laptop and an idea. But in that moment, the scale shifted. It wasn't about the views anymore. It was about the value. If one brand wanted this, maybe others did too. I knew I couldn't just wing it. If I was going to do this for real, I had to master the tools that got me here. I had to go from accidental to intentional. I started learning AI tools, diving deep into the tech behind the magic. I wanted to understand the how as much as the why. Editing, storytelling, prompt engineering, everything. It was like learning a new language where the only limit was my own imagination. I stayed up until 3 a.m. every night, testing, failing, and trying again. The viral video was a fluke. I wanted to make sure the next one was a masterpiece. It wasn't always easy. There were moments of frustration where the AI wouldn't listen or the story wouldn't click. But I wouldn't let it beat me. I realized that AI was just the brush. I was still the artist. I had to learn the ancient art of storytelling to make the modern tools sing. Finally, I hit export on that first brand project. My hands were shaking. I sent the link and I waited. The longest hour of my life. The reply was instant. They loved it. They didn't just see a viral video. They saw a professional who could deliver a vision. I sent my first real invoice, a number that represented more than just money. It represented my time, my growth, and my new life. And then my first payment. seeing that balance change wasn't about greed, it was about freedom. The freedom to keep going. It was the first time I realized I could survive doing what I loved. The viral video was a door, and I had just walked through it into a whole new world. I took a breath. I had done it. From a random viral moment to a paid professional in weeks. But I wasn't done yet. I was just getting started. The way I walked changed. The way I talked changed. I had a skill now, something nobody could take away from me. This wasn't luck. This was a skill. I had practiced, I had learned, and I had delivered. Luck gets you noticed, but skill gets you paid. I realized that AI wasn't just a tool for me anymore. It was an extension of my mind, a way to bring any dream into reality in seconds. I stopped looking back at that one viral video. I started looking forward to the thousands of videos I was going to create next. This was episode 2. The viral moment was the spark, but the skill was the fire. And that fire was going to burn brighter than any viral trend ever could. This is just the beginning of what's possible when you combine human heart with artificial intelligence. End of episode 2. I kept staring at my screen, the blue light washing over my face as the rest of the world slept. The silence was heavy, but I didn't feel tired. For the first time in years, I felt awake, truly awake. Watching the numbers change. My hand was hovering over the mouse, almost afraid to click, afraid the dream would disappear if I moved. Then came the ping, my first payment. Not just a number on a screen, but a validation of my soul's work. I couldn't believe it. I kept thinking, someone, somewhere, valued what I created enough to pay for it. Really pay for it. I looked out at the city as dawn began to creep over the horizon. I had followed all the rules before. I had followed the path that others set for me, believing that safety was the only goal. But this was freedom. This was the first brick of a house I was building for myself, in the middle of a quiet office at 4 a.m. I felt a shift in that moment, a deep realization that the viral hit wasn't just luck. It was an invitation to a new life, an invitation to turn a single moment of attention into a lifetime of mastery. I wouldn't let it slip away. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a video. This was a skill. And a skill is something no one can take from you. I replayed that video 1,000 times, analyzing every cut, every transition, every word, to find the magic. I realized that if I could do it once, I could learn how to do it again. I just needed to learn the language. And maybe, just maybe, this could be my way out of the life I was tired of living. My way to something more. I thought about the 9 to 5, the endless meetings, the feeling of being a gear in someone else's giant machine. No more. I decided right then that I wouldn't let this opportunity slip through my fingers. I was going to own every second. I started mapping out a plan. Not just for more views, but for a career built on real, unshakable expertise. Time became my most valuable currency. Every hour spent learning was an investment in my future freedom. Tick, tick, AI tools, editing, storytelling. I wanted to understand the why behind the how, the logic in the machine. I studied the rhythm of cuts, the flow of emotion, the way sound can make a heart beat faster. I was obsessed. Day and night, I didn't stop. While others were sleeping or scrolling, I was building the foundation of my life. My room became a laboratory. I read everything I could find. Psychology, marketing, the art of the hook. I absorbed it all. The world disappeared. There was only the screen, the sound, and the progress. I was becoming someone new. I forced myself to learn the things that were difficult. the things that others were too lazy to master. I wanted the edge. But it wasn't all progress. There were nights when nothing worked, when the screen just mocked me with errors. The exhaustion was a physical weight. My eyes burned, my back ached, and my mind felt like a frayed wire. It wasn't easy. There were days when I felt like I was running in place, getting absolutely nowhere, just spinning. Some videos failed, some clients didn't respond, and the silence was deafening. I felt like a failure again. The temptation to quit was a constant whisper. Every no felt like a punch. Every failure felt like a sign to stop. I sat in the dark and listened to the rain. I thought about going back. I thought about the safety of the hallway, but I didn't quit. I told myself that the struggle was the price of admission for the life I actually wanted. I opened it. I signed my first real contract. It was small, but it was a bridge. A bridge from lucky to capable. I delivered that first gig with more care than anything I'd ever done. I wasn't just working, I was performing. The feedback came back. Great job. Those 2 words felt like a gold medal. More people started reaching out. Momentum is a strange thing. Once it starts, it's hard to stop. My inbox wasn't silent anymore. It was alive. Small projects, small money. But each one was a testimony to my growing expertise. I was becoming a professional. I was no longer just a creator hiding in a room. I was a partner in my client's success. I was an asset. It was growing. Not overnight, not in an explosion of views, but in a steady, unstoppable climb toward the sun. I reinvested everything. Every cent went back into the craft. Better tools, better systems, better quality. I was getting better, faster, smarter, more confident in every decision. The tools were becoming part of me. Efficiency became my obsession. I was building an empire from my bedroom, one frame at a time. No limits. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was in the driver's seat. No longer waiting for luck to strike. I was luck. I was building something real, something that belonged to me, something that no algorithm could ever take away. The road ahead is long, and I know there will be more challenges. But now, I have the tools to face them head on. The view is different from here. The world feels smaller, and my place in it feels much more certain. I'm ready. This is just the beginning. The skill is the foundation, and the future is whatever I choose to build next. Stay tuned, because the next chapter is where things get really interesting. Episode 4 starts now. Fade into next episode. The journey continues. See you in the next one. Things started changing, faster than I ever expected. It was like a dam had finally broken, and the opportunities were flooding in. My inbox wasn't just active anymore, it was overflowing. For the first time, I wasn't the one chasing projects. They were finding me. Every morning felt like a new chapter. I'd wake up to messages from people across the globe, all interested in what I had to offer. The momentum was building. I could feel the shift in the air. I wasn't just a freelancer anymore. I was becoming a business. The names in my inbox were getting bigger. The requests were getting more complex. And the stakes? They were higher than ever. I had to level up my workflow just to keep pace. Everything was moving at the speed of light, and I was loving every second of it. It was a whirlwind of deadlines and Zoom calls. But in the middle of all that chaos, something incredible was about to happen. That's when I received the email that changed everything. The one that proved this wasn't just a side hustle anymore. And then I got my first truly big client. I remember seeing the subject line and my heart skipping a beat. I was used to the $10 or $20 gigs. Those were my bread and butter for so long. But this was different. We weren't talking about pocket change anymore. This was hundreds, no, thousands of dollars for one single project. They were a real company, a major player in their industry, and they wanted me to handle their most important tasks. I just sat there, staring at the screen in total silence. I couldn't believe they were offering me this much. I kept thinking, is this really happening? Is this my life now? Is this the reward for all those late nights? I didn't hesitate for long. I clicked accept, but my hands were shaking. This was the moment everything went from a dream to a reality. I walked away from my desk and just stood by the window, trying to process the fact that my life had just shifted on its axis. The world looked the same outside, but everything felt different inside. The weight of financial stress was finally lifting. I started to laugh, just a little, a mix of joy and pure relief. I had actually done it. I had proven them all wrong. I wanted to call everyone. I wanted to scream it from the rooftops. But first, I just needed to let it sink in. I took one last deep breath and turned back to my desk. The celebration was for later. Right now, it was time to work. I started working harder than ever before. This big client deserved my absolute best, and I was going to give it to them. More projects meant more deadlines, and my schedule was packed from morning until night. But I wasn't complaining. Every cut, every edit, every word I wrote, it all felt purposeful. I was building something real, something that had value. The hustle was real, but the burnout wasn't. When you're working toward a dream that's actually coming true, the energy is endless. The nights were long and the pressure was high. But every time I felt tired, I'd look at that project proposal and find my second wind. My schedule was a puzzle of meetings and milestones. I was learning how to manage not just my time, but my growing reputation. And as the projects grew, so did the numbers. My income wasn't just increasing, it was compounding in ways I hadn't imagined. From a few dollars here and there to hundreds of dollars hitting my account on a regular basis. It was a constant stream of progress. And then it happened. The four-figure payments started coming in. Those were the ones that really made my head spin. Seeing that balance grow was about more than just the money. It was about the security, the freedom to finally say yes to life. I started reinvesting in myself. The first thing I did was upgrade my tools. No more lagging software or blurry calls. I built the workspace I used to only see in Pinterest boards, a place where I could actually create at the highest level. But the biggest upgrade wasn't the gear. It was how I carried myself. I finally felt like the professional I had always dreamed of being. I started taking care of my body, too. Better food, more sleep, and the time to actually enjoy a meal without rushing. Slowly but surely, my entire life started to change. The constant underlying hum of anxiety was replaced by a sense of peace. This wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about the person I was becoming through this process. I realized that this wasn't luck anymore. Luck is a one-time thing. This was something I had built with my own hands. I had created a foundation that could support the life I wanted. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid of the future. This was just the beginning. The momentum was mine, and I was just getting started on the next chapter. Because once you realize what you're truly capable of, there's no limit to how far you can go. See you in the next episode.